Hi folks, and welcome to Schick Happens. In today's episode, I want to go over a few upcoming events and announcements, and also talk about a few other little things here and there. These two little storage bins for stuffed animals, the wife and I made for our grandkids. We made these last weekend, and after I got them built, Lori went ahead and painted them and got them decorated. And I did make a video on how I made these, so look out for that here coming up soon. Back here in the corner is a calendar. It's just an annual calendar that I post every year. There's very little information on it. It's just a plain Jane calendar. Speaking of Jane, you still watching these videos? But anyway, I don't write anything on this. It's simply there as a quick reference when I'm out here in the shop and I need to look ahead down the road and think about planning stuff. That's really the only reason that's there. But the main reason I wanted to bring up calendars, these here, there's 6 or 7 years here, and in the house we have the current year, 2020. We have that in the kitchen posted on the wall. And every day, or almost every day, I make an annotation of some sort on each one of the little blocks of the days, whether it's how much snow we got, how much rain we got, the temperature, it could be anything. And the reason I bring this up is on some recent homestead videos, I seen logbooks or ledgers of seed growing, or planting, or keeping track of the growth, the days that they plant the seedlings. And it was just a real nice chart to keep track from start to finish, and a very good reference for future use. And that's exactly why I keep these calendars. And I think I have calendars going back probably 12 or 13 years. And they're a super reference point on when you planted stuff, how much rain you got, temperature, all kinds of notes. So I strongly urge anyone out there to save these. Save your calendars, make notes on them. It's a wealth of information to use down the road if you can just force yourself to make notes. At least maybe every other day, every 3 days. Now, if you want to take that one step further, about every 5 years or so, I do a journal from January 1st to December 31st. Every single day I will make an entry of anything significant that happened that day. And I started doing this when I was in my late 20s. I think the last one I did was 2 years ago. I don't do it every year, and it's challenging to do it, to make an entry every single day. It's even travel with me when I've been out of town, just so I can take notes of the daily events. But I'm really glad I've done that, because it is really fun to go back a decade ago, 2 decades ago, and here soon 3 decades ago, to see what I did what was important to me in a given time frame over the course of a whole year. So I strongly suggest, or would recommend, if you have the patience to do something like that, maybe going into 2020, try it. Now, if you're real old, you probably ought to not concern yourself with keeping a journal over the course of the year. Take, for instance, a lady I work with. She makes me homemade bread. Her name's Carol, and she's really old. She probably ought to be more concerned about a rough draft of an obituary or getting her will up to date than maybe a daily journal. Another exciting thing I'd like to share is here coming up in the next 3 months, I'm planning on doing some collaborations with a few other channels. I'm not going to get into details right now because we haven't even worked out all the kinks. But that's something I'm really excited about doing. Because other than Joe at Capper Outdoors, I really haven't got to do anything with anybody else. Now, Joe will be involved in these collaborations, but just wanted to toss out there that there might be some exciting things coming up here on Schick Happens and a few other channels. I'm looking forward to it. I also have a suspicious feeling that the Schickster, in one way, shape, or form, will be tied into these collaborations, I think. And speaking of Schickster, I do believe, I'm not sure on this, but I'm almost certain he will continue his quest to find the elusive Bigfoot or Sasquatch here on the homestead. I'm not going to interfere with his research. I'll just let him do his thing. But I can imagine there will be a few more Bigfoot videos with the Schickster down the road, sprinkled in here and there. Matter of fact, the Schickster asked me the other day if he could use power tools in the wood shop. I reluctantly said yes, simply because his insurance was paid in full. Along with the collaborations, I'm also hoping that maybe later this year in the fall, that a couple guys with channels can make it here to my place to maybe try to bag some game, hang out, tell some stories, and maybe shoot some video. Dave at Hunting Farmer and Don at Bucktails Outdoors. Those are two guys that I'd really like to have here at the homestead to hang out for a weekend and treat them to some nice hunting here in Northwest Ohio. Earlier I was talking about keeping track of records in a journal or calendars. You probably can't see it right here. Maybe I'll see if I can get another video of this. But right up in here, I write down the year and how many trees I planted that year. I don't know why I started it on the side of this cabinet, but it just helps me keep track because I plant a lot of trees. Oh, one other exciting announcement I'd like to make is if you've followed my channel since its beginning, or at least for the last 4 or 5 months, I had a video up, Ginseng and Mushrooms with Tim Phillips. He's a good friend of mine. We've been friends for about 15 years, and I usually try to make it to his place once a year, and he comes here once a year just to hang out, drink beer, and talk about wild edibles and everything else. Super nice guy, and we had a great weekend that weekend. But anyway, he was a contestant on Naked and Afraid, and his episode will be airing next month. I'm looking forward to watching it. So if you're into that kind of stuff or those reality shows, check it out. Thanks for joining me here today on Schick Happens. I hope you enjoyed this kind of announcement video, update video, whatever it's called. But anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We got some good things coming up down the road. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up and share it. Carol, I was joking about the old age thing. You're as young as you feel. Really. I mean it. Can I get some bread this week?